Red Bull just revealed something in Bahrain that should scare the entire grid. Not a flashy lap time. Not a headline-grabbing number. Something much worse. 400 laps completed. 0 engine failures. 344 kilometers per hour on the straight. And almost no tire degradation over long runs. While Ferrari overheated. While Mercedes fought rear instability. The RB22 just kept circulating like nothing could touch it. But here is the part nobody is talking about. Engineers spotted a new sidepod exit design that directs hot air straight onto the rear aero surfaces. That means extra downforce, without extra drag. Free grip. At full speed. And if that was not enough, telemetry suggests Verstappen was not even using the most aggressive engine mode. Some estimates say they are hiding up to 0.8 of a second. 0.8. That is not a small margin. That is domination territory. So the real question is not whether Red Bull is fast. The real question is how much they are still hiding. Stay with me. Because what the RB22 just revealed in Bahrain might already decide this championship. Let's go back to Barcelona. Because that is where the tone was set. Red Bull did not arrive looking desperate. They did not chase qualifying simulations. They did not run headline laps in the middle of the afternoon. They focused on mileage. Long runs. Energy cycles. Platform validation. From the first installation lap, the RB22 looked composed. No bouncing through medium speed corners. No sudden rear snaps. No aggressive steering corrections from Verstappen. The balance looked neutral. And neutral, in Formula 1, is powerful. It means the car responds exactly as the driver expects. Now here is what stood out immediately. The new Red Bull Ford power unit. Many expected early teething problems. New hybrid integration. New energy recovery architecture. New calibration philosophy. Instead, there were 0 engine-related stoppages. Not one red flag triggered by reliability. That alone sent a message through the paddock. Because new engine partnerships rarely begin this clean. But Red Bull did not just survive Barcelona. They looked comfortable. Max Verstappen's feedback was unusually positive. He said the car felt better than the simulator predicted. Better. That is critical. Usually drivers temper expectations during early running. This time, the message was different. The platform felt mature from day one. Compared to the previous season, where early balance issues required constant setup corrections, this car appeared stable immediately. And stability is the most valuable starting point in Formula 1. Because if your base is strong, every upgrade adds performance. If your base is flawed, every upgrade is a repair. Red Bull left Barcelona not celebrating, but confident. Quietly confident. And then came Bahrain. Hotter air. Rougher surface. Longer traction zones. This is where weaknesses normally appear. Cooling limits get tested. Rear suspension geometry gets exposed. Energy deployment efficiency becomes visible. If Barcelona was validation, Bahrain was interrogation. And instead of cracking under pressure, the RB22 revealed something even more impressive. Consistency. Which is often far more dangerous than raw speed. Bahrain is where Red Bull stopped being quiet and started being frightening. Because the heat did not slow them down. It exposed everyone else. While Ferrari dealt with thermal shutdown. While Mercedes fought rear instability and fuel behavior. The RB22 just kept delivering lap after lap. 136 laps on the first day alone. More than 400 across the week. No power unit drama. No hybrid clipping. No sudden performance drops. And here is the key detail. Their long-run pace barely moved. On the medium compound, Verstappen was running within 1/10 of a second over extended stints. Lap after lap. No visible drop-off. That means rear tire protection is under control. That means suspension geometry is stable under acceleration. That means aerodynamic load is consistent. And consistency under heat is what separates contenders from champions. But then the technical cameras picked up something subtle. The sidepod cannon exits. Not random cooling vents. Directed channels. Hot air being expelled strategically over the beam wing and upper diffuser region. This matters. Because at lower speeds, airflow around the rear can lose energy. When that happens, downforce drops. Red Bull found a way to energize that airflow using cooling exhaust. That creates additional rear stability without increasing drag. Free downforce. At low speed. Without sacrificing top speed. Which explains the number that shocked the paddock. 344 kilometers per hour. Without the most aggressive engine mode. Normally, high top speed means trimming rear wing. Trimming rear wing means losing traction in slow corners. Red Bull appears to have avoided that compromise. They have grip. And they have speed. That combination is rare. But it gets even more serious. Energy deployment. While others suffered clipping halfway down straights, the RB22 maintained electric assistance through the entire acceleration zone. That suggests extremely efficient harvesting under braking. The sound of the car under deceleration was distinct. A sharp electric whistle. Aggressive recovery. Meaning they are harvesting more energy than rivals. And deploying it longer. Which means overtaking potential stays alive deeper into straights. Which means defending becomes easier. Which means strategy flexibility increases. Energy efficiency is invisible on television. But it wins races. And Red Bull appears to dominate that category. Now add one more layer. Some engineers in the paddock believe Red Bull is not running its final floor specification. The lower floor edges looked unusually simple. Less complex vortex structures than expected. If that is a base version. If the real floor arrives at the first race weekend, then what we saw in Bahrain might not be the final form. It might be the beginning. Telemetry also showed Verstappen lifting slightly in high-speed sections during his fastest laps. Not full commitment. Not full deployment. There are whispers of up to 0.8 still hidden. 0.8 in modern Formula One is enormous. That is not marginal. That is domination territory. Christian Horner sounds relaxed. Helmut Marko remains cautious, as always. But even Marko admitted fuel consumption is lower than anticipated. Lower fuel consumption means lighter starting weight. Lighter weight means faster early race pace. Everything compounds. So while other teams are correcting weaknesses, Red Bull is refining strengths. They are not chasing stability. They already have it. They are not chasing energy efficiency. They already mastered it. They are not chasing tire management. They are controlling it. And that is what the RB22 just revealed in Bahrain. Not just an upgrade. Not just a clever cooling exit. Not just a reliable new engine. It revealed a platform that is stable, efficient, and possibly still holding back. And if this is them in testing conditions, calm, measured, consistent, then the real question is not whether Red Bull is fast. It is how much faster they can still become. Because when a team looks this controlled before the season begins, history suggests the rest of the grid has a serious problem. Now let us talk about what this really means for the championship picture. Because dominance in Formula One does not start with a single fast lap. It starts with control. Control of temperature. Control of energy deployment. Control of tire degradation. Control of balance across different track conditions. And right now, Red Bull looks like the only team controlling all four. Ferrari is chasing thermal stability. Mercedes is restructuring suspension geometry and waiting on regulatory clarity. McLaren looks solid, but slightly lacking the outright edge. Red Bull? They are not firefighting. They are optimizing. And that is a completely different mindset. When a team begins the season fixing weaknesses, development resources go into repair. When a team begins the season with a stable base, development resources go into expansion. Expansion creates performance leaps. Repair only restores what was missing. That difference becomes exponential over time. The RB22 appears to have been born stable. No chronic understeer. No violent rear snap. No correlation crisis between simulator and track. That means every wind tunnel hour now adds refinement. Every simulator session adds precision. They are building on strength. And that is where the fear factor begins. Because if the current floor is not the final version, if the engine has not been run in its most aggressive mapping, if Verstappen has not shown full qualifying commitment, then what we saw in Bahrain may only be the controlled version. The safe version. The evaluation mode. Imagine the full attack configuration. Higher deployment. Sharper aero balance. Lower fuel loads. That is when margins grow. And in modern Formula 1, even 2/10 is decisive. 8/10 would be devastating. There is also the psychological effect. When rival team principals openly admit Red Bull's energy recovery is in another league, that spreads pressure. Drivers start pushing harder. Engineers start taking risks. Mistakes increase. And Red Bull thrives in chaotic environments. Because their platform does not look fragile.